Welcome to Rest Mama Podcast, where we embrace the journey of motherhood, self-discovery, and healing. I am your host, Agatha, and today's episode is going to be deeply personal and close to my heart. It's going to be one from my best friend of over 30 years, Genetta. And this episode is for you, girl. So grab your tea, coffee, water, and sit back and enjoy today's episode. I don't know too much of if y'all going to enjoy anything about this episode, but here we are. I feel like this is going to be the best part for me to process what has happened over the past 2.5 weeks. And hopefully, I can get through this without starting it over because I've tried to record this podcast for this is my fifth recording for today. I've been at it since 11 o'clock and it's almost 2. I've been having such mom guilt and things of that nature and just trying to be sweet and passive and everything just because what I'm about to share. But yeah, so like I said, this podcast is for my friend of over 30 plus years. February the 6th, my friend passed away. She was only 41 years old. She was a mom, a friend. She was more than a friend for me. She was more like a sister in every way that mattered. She was light, she was love, she was strength, she was resilience, she was laughter, she was beauty. She was so beautiful. She was such a beautiful girl. I remember me growing up, I wanted to look like her. I wanted to be like her. She was like the it girl, like that's the girl you want to be. Her spirit was so special. Her soul was so special. Her voice was angelic because she could sing. She just had it all. People liked her. She was very popular. And I just remember knowing her at the age of 5. We knew each other at the age of 5, but she's like in a different class than me. She wasn't in my kindergarten class, but then she moved and went to California. Then they came back, and then shortly after that, her grandmother had passed away, and there was an incident where somebody said that I said something about her grandmother, and I was like, I didn't say that, and she confronted the person. She's like, didn't you say that she said that? And they end up saying like, no, Agatha didn't say that. She was just there. And I was like, I didn't say that. And so I think at that moment, she just became like my protector because she knew I was not the person that would like confrontation or being in mess or fights and things of that nature. And she was like, why would y'all at her in that mess? Like, that's crazy. Why would y'all say she said that? And like from that point on, she just became like my protector and my friend, and like stood up for me and advocated for me and stood in the gaps when I couldn't stand in the gaps for myself. She supported me in everything. If it was reposting something or liking something or sharing, if I can count on one person to do anything, it would be her. And most recently, when I launched Rest Mama and I had my event, I sent the invitation to her, and she messaged me back, I'm there. I'm coming. I'm so proud of you. And although I knew she wasn't going to make it, it was just knowing that you have a friend like that. We've been friends for over 30 plus years. It's been so long. I think we only may have had one argument, but the argument wasn't anything as far as like into it. It was more so of a misunderstanding and a miscommunication. And we squared that away and said that we would never, ever leave each other again like that. And from that point on, I would always come home and she would be my place where I would land, because it was more focused on, I didn't care, give a shit about nobody else but her. You know what I'm saying? So it's very devastating when I got the news. Back up just a little bit. I was going to record an episode for the podcast for Love After Divorce. I was going to talk about relationship, things of that nature. And I just could not get this episode recorded. Kind of like today, which is weird. Today I just been crying every time I talk about it. And I don't want to be crying on the podcast, but I just couldn't get it recorded. I just was getting so many interruptions. The phone was glitching. It was just a lot going on. So I said, don't worry about it. I'll just record it, my next 4 days off. That's what I said. Like, I'll just record it my next 4 days off. And the day after, I just was not up to it. I was very sad that day. I remember texting my person and I was like, I'm just very sad. And he's like, you want to talk about it? And I was like, no, I'm going to process it on my own. But, you know, I'm gonna be okay. So the following day, I had doctor's appointment, so I knew I was going back to work. So as I was driving in the car, dropped the kids off, driving in the car, I was having my quiet time with God, and I just remember bawling in tears because I was already very concerned about my health. I've been gaining this weight, and I just like, is it hormonal? Is it perimenopause? What is it? My diet hasn't changed, or anything like that. The most that I ever do is snack during my menstrual cycle. Why am I gaining all this weight? I just don't feel comfortable with myself. I know what depression and anxiety is. This is my conversation I'm having with God. Like, I know what depression and anxiety is, Lord, but I just don't feel right. And I just remember saying, I don't feel like I have enough time on this earth left. It's like, Lord, I want to feel loved again. I want to feel seen again. I want to get married. I want to live out the purpose that you have for me. I want Rest Mama to bloom and be something great, and me being able to experience it. I don't know what I need to do, Lord, to lock in, but help me lock in. But I just can't because that brain fog and all this other stuff, And I'm crying. So I get to my doctor, straight up get to my doctor. Me and my doctor, we locked in. I only see her twice a year. One time for my thyroid and then for my physical. And we were locked in. And I, can't wait to like get to her and talk to her. And I was just telling her, and I was like, I know what depression and anxiety is. She's like, yeah, I don't think you're depressed. She's like, anxiety, we talked about ways that you can, manage that and things of that nature. And we don't think you need to be on any medicine. She's like, let's try this. And she joked. She said, you're not trying to have any babies, are you? And I was like, why would you say a thing like that? And she's like, I'm older than you and I have babies younger than you. I said, well, ma'am, I have a college student and I'm not trying to have any babies. And she said, okay, cool. I just thought that was really odd. And so then she said, you want to get the flu shot? And I said, I'll never get that flu shot. She said, I know. I said, but let me get it. And I was thinking because next month I'm going to physically be taking care of my mom and my dad because my mom has to have a procedure. And then, my dad is fully disabled. And so let me get the flu shot because although I'm not around people that I can get the flu from, my kids can bring something home from school. So let me just cover myself because last time I got sick, my dad got sick really bad. He had to go to the hospital. And I didn't want to do that again. Let me get the flu shot. Not knowing. So went and picked the kids up, talked to my mom for like 2 hours while I was in carpool line or whatever the case may be. And pick the kids up, have my little time with them. Thursdays is usually takeout days. So I said, I took something out to eat so I can cook something at home or we can get takeout. Of course, the kids, Chick-fil-A. So we went to Chick-fil-A. It took forever. And by the time we got to the house, it was almost 4 or 5 o'clock. And I said, this is good because I can go to sleep because I hadn't slept all day knowing I got to go to work that night. So as soon as I walked through the door, my mom called. And she says, hey. And I'm all like, my mom don't talk like this. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, what is it? Either somebody's at the house that she want me to pull up on or something's wrong. And I immediately went to something's wrong because, like I said, I've been feeling like sadness and all this. And I've been preparing myself for either my mom, my dad or me. So she says, what you doing? And I say, nothing. And she says, where's Soraya? And I'm thinking like, you try to call Soraya? Soraya's standing right here. She's like, okay, what you said you was doing again? And I said, nothing, Mom. Just walked in the house. What's going on? Immediately, bad. So, but she was looking out like my left hand side. She was looking toward like my left hand side, her right hand side. She was like, I got it. And then I heard my dad. And I said, okay, well, it's not Dad. Then what is it? Who's at the house? And she said, Pooh passed away. I said, what do you mean? And I just dropped the phone and I tried to run out the door and I slammed into the door and I come back and I said, what do you mean? She's gone. Where did she go? Mom said she's dead. And I said, what do you mean she's dead? I said, have you confirmed this with Miss Valerie? Like, are you seeing something on Facebook? Like, what it is? And I'm going to Facebook to see there's nothing posted. She said, Valerie just called me and I said, call her back. Because there's no way. Y'all playing a prank on me. So called her. So my mom and my friend's mom is really close. And so she said, call her. And so I say, get on the phone. And she, yep, Lauren found her. I said, oh my God, the kids, let me call y'all back. So I called the oldest baby. And I said, hey. And she said, hey, Auntie. I said, you good? And she said, yeah, I'm good. I said, oh, okay. I just, now I'm thinking like, she don't even know. Let me play it off because maybe she doesn't know what's going on. But, in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, they just told me that Lauren, like she found her. So what, like, let me just figure out, let me just test the water, let me temperature check. And she's like, Auntie, I'm okay. She said, are you okay? I said, no, baby. Are you okay? You don't ask me if I'm okay. Are you okay? And she says, yes, I'm fine. I'm good. I promise you I'm good. I said, okay, I'm on my way to get you. So I called my mom. I text my person and I said, they just found my friend. I don't think my car's going to make it, but I got to get to Newton. Mind you, he just left Atlanta and he left his car here and he was in his truck, and I know his truck been giving him some issues. So I'm all like, I know he told me, that the truck was giving him some issues. And so he was like, do you need me to rent a car? And I was like, if you can. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna come try to get to you. And so called my mom and I was like, okay, T's gonna rent me a car. I'm gonna go to New. She said, you don't need to go on that road. So she called her mom and her mom said, don't you come on this road tonight. And I said, but I gotta get to her. And they said, don't you come on that road. You're not gonna be good enough to come on that road. And if you're gonna go, I wish somebody would go with you. I said, well, he's not here or whatever. So my mom said, well, you need to call somebody to come to the house with you. So I called my friend here in Georgia and they pulled up on me. And I just remember sitting up under, there's this, I don't know why the iPhone do that. There's this, I have a table downstairs and it has, underneath there's like three small stools. So I climbed up under there and I just closed the chairs in on me because I just wanted to be in a tight space. And I just kept remembering, kept saying like, what do you mean she's dead? Like, what do you mean she's dead? Like, she's 41. What do you mean she's dead? What happened? And I just don't remember sleeping that night. So the next day I woke up thinking that it was not real. And I went to the group chat that the class of 2002 has back home and they took me out the group chat. And I said, oh, it is real. This is the same day. I'm sorry. So I didn't sleep that night. I still didn't have all the answers. People are messaging me, asking me, am I okay? Things of that nature. I woke up the next morning. Her face was the first face that I seen on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. And I just thought, wow. She's gone. Not the person that we were supposed to grow old together, not the person that I had plans for, not the person that I was coming to see this month. I had talked to her maybe like 2-3 weeks prior to it, but it was brief. She had called me. I missed a call. I called her back. We talked for a moment, and then that was it. I told her, I said, I'll see you soon. I'm coming down there soon. She said, okay. Her and I, Genetta and I, shared so many moments together. This is not like a friend that, you just happen to run up on. Like I said, we've known each other since 5-6 years old. Really became friends 8, 9, 10 years old. We've been friends ever since. Like I said, she stood in the gap for me. She fought for me. I never had to worry about anything. When you see Genetta, you see me, and you knew that she was protected. Everybody thought she was the oldest, but I was the oldest. But she protected me like that I was the oldest. I didn't graduate with class of 2002 back in Mississippi. I moved to Georgia the end of my junior year. And so I just remember her was gonna ask the registrar's office, could I walk with them? What? She was like, yeah, you're gonna walk with us. We're gonna get you a cap and gown and everything. And I was like, girl, they are not gonna let me do that. Plus, I had my graduation too. I said, but if my graduation's not on the same day as y'all's, then I'm gonna come down. But it ended up being that. But then I came down like after that weekend to celebrate with them, right? So she always made sure that I was included with the class of 2002 from that point on. They had created a group chat and she put me in it. She was like, Agatha is just as much a part of this group than anybody else, if not more. And I'm still like connected. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be connected to that group. And it was so crazy. We took a class picture. And our last class picture that we took was at a homecoming years ago. And she was there, but this picture she's not. And it's just so weird to see everybody have their friends and I don't have mine. We shared so many things together. When I was going through difficult times with my boyfriend, the kid's daddy. And we would get into it. Something would happen. She would be like, girl, you ain't got to worry about him. I'll take care of you. Tell him to bring you halfway. And he would do it because he wanted to do his own thing. And he would take me halfway to Mississippi. And she would get it. She's like, you ain't need no bags. Just get in the car. I'll get you some clothes when you get here. I'll feed you. You ain't got to worry about it. She would literally house me for like a week or two. But in the same token, every time she needed me, I came. My mom used to be like, you run up and down that hallway. You need to be careful. This, that, and the third. And I was like, my friend need me. Like, you crazy. I'm going. And then even when I was like 7,000 miles away, I was living in Kuwait. She did life with me like she was right next door. And it worked out so perfectly because when it was time for her to be sleep, it would be up, but she worked at night. So she was up when I was up. So I would talk with her through her whole shift and everything. And then when it was time for her to get off and go to bed, I would talk to her on the way to work, at work, on the way home, everything. We shared 2 pregnancies together because our middle children are the same age. Brian and Soraya. Bryson and Carter are the same age. We were pregnant at the same time, and we kind of hid our pregnancies from everybody. We was going to keep it a secret, but she had gotten to the point because she was still working. She's like, my belly getting big. She had lost all this weight. She's like, but my belly getting big, and they don't know. They keep asking me, am I pregnant? I'm pregnant. And she's like, I got to tell them, friend. I was like, well, I ain't telling nobody. And I didn't share my pregnancy with just, just a small group of friends. Nobody really knew. But that was one thing that we shared together. And our boys were supposed to be born on the same day, but Carter came early, and Bryson was born 2 days late. But they were supposed to both be born on the 25th. Our then husband was like, y'all playing that shit? And we were like, no, we just that much in sync. We found out we were pregnant the same day. It was crazy. We shared so many things together, so many memories, so many places we've been. We went to New Orleans. We got nose piercings together. She was just that one that always wanted to be around people she loved. That what made her joy. And I wanted every time. That was one of the most important things for me. Was I remember one time I told her I was coming home and I could not get home, and she was so sad and upset about it. And I said, I'll never tell her that I'm ever coming home because I don't ever want her to be disappointed and sad about it. So every time I would go home, she wouldn't know until I was in her front yard. And I'm going to miss that the most because it was just, if you would seen her face light up and just be so happy. Like, it's like to know that someone loves you that much. You know what I'm saying? She was an amazing mama. She loved those babies tremendously. And I know the reason why she loved them babies tremendously because she loved my babies tremendously. When I didn't have Christmases, she would send money for Christmas for me to get Christmas presents for them babies. And she would be like, you could just come live with me. She asked me one of our last conversations. She said, phone conversations, not the one 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, but it was a conversation beforehand. She's like, girl, you getting married anytime soon? And I was like, girl, if it was, you would be the first to know, and you would be by my side. You would be right there by my side like you were 17 years ago, baby. Because there's no way that I would not do that without you. And we talked about what that would look like and how she wanted to get remarried and have a wedding. She would give you the clothes off of her back. She sacrificed a lot of herself for the people that she loved. Some people may not have understood, but it was ways that she needed to do things in order to get things done, you know. I understand now why she did those things, you know. She's definitely behind a few things in Rest Mama. The love you mean it. I always have been saying it, but she said it to me first and I loved it. I thought I was special. I found out that she said it to everybody, but she would always say love you mean it, and I started saying it, my little thing saying that I said, and I called her one day and I said, do you mind if I say it? Because I thought she, I'm pretty sure she made it up. And she's like, girl, I don't care. And so when I created my jewelry line, I created the Love You Mean It earrings because she liked little small dainty pieces. And the Love You Mean It earrings, y'all can see little hearts. But that was her. And that became a part of Rest Mama. And this month I was going to go honor her for that. Time is a social construct. Time does not live for us, we live in it. Don't ever think that you have the time to do something. If you grew up in church, you know that they say, give your life to Christ because tomorrow is not promised. That is real. It never hit me as hard as it did when my friend passed. 41 years old, she's supposed to be here. There are so many bad people on this earth that can very much be taken out, and they get to live on this earth and not know that the perfect soul that she was is gone. I feel like a part of myself is gone. It's not something that I feel like I'm going to get over overnight. I don't think the pain will ever go away. I don't think I would not miss her. It's crazy. My phone has been going crazy with the memories. Facebook's been going crazy with the memories. Things just pop up, remind me of her. It just sucks. I hate that grief it's not linear because one moment I'm okay and the next moment I'm not. I was at work the other day and I just broke down in tears. Like, I'm not doing good today because I've been crying all day today. That's why it's taking me so many times to record this podcast. But it's like just tears just start flowing. I could be cooking something and just, I can smell something and it just reminds me of her. Or just go back on a memory of something, the plans that I had for her. I said, this shit gotta pop, Lord, because I gotta get my friends some relief. I would always say when I go play the lottery, first person getting a check is her. The first person getting the phone call was gonna be her. Felt like I didn't. I was like, come see me, Pooh. I said, come see me. And I'm waiting for that moment. I felt like the day of it, I can feel her spirit. Yeah. So, Agatha, what is this whole purpose of this podcast? It's basically love on your people because you don't know the day, time, or hour, second, minute, moment. Before I reconnected with my person, that was one of the things that I was just scared of. Like if something happened to him and wasn't able to know, um, I would be devastated. If I didn't make it right, I would be hurt. And for me, I just thought I had time because she's supposed to grow old with me. This is not about me, but it is because my person is gone. My friends from Georgia drove me down, and I just am so thankful for them because I just don't know that I would be able to do or would have been able to do that without them. They didn't have to do that, but to honor them in a way to say like thank you, like words are not enough sometimes, and especially in the time that we live in, it's so short. People have been giving me ways to cope, allowing myself to feel. I'm very much of a feeler in a sense. I cry, I've been angry, I've been mad because there are a lot of things that could possibly be a contributor to why she's no longer here that I want to be mad about, but I miss her. And like I said, we may have not talked every day, but it's like that person is no longer here. So in the event that if I needed to call her for something, she won't answer the phone. Leaning on my support system, that's one of the hardest things that I can do because I'm not the type of person that likes to dump on people. People are already going through a lot of stuff. And for me, this is my stuff. This is my thing. You don't know my friend, so you wouldn't know how to feel. Some people back home can have the same sense or a feeling of that, but you still won't know how I feel because of the relationship that we had together. So I don't you don't have to grieve alone. You can always call me. No, I can't. That's one thing that I am struggling with because I feel like I can't. I want to process this on my own or during my own time. I don't want to hear somebody say it's going to be okay. You're going to get through this. It's going to be better one day. No, it's not. One day it's not going to be better because she's not physically here. I've been thinking of ways to honor her memory and find a creative outlet to do that. So you probably will see a little bit more than that. I told myself I needed to reevaluate some things as far as with Rest Mama when it comes to it, because Rest Mama, all of my friends that are moms or people who have stood in the gap for me as a mom has been inspiration to this company. This company is not just about me. It's about every mother that I have come across, every friend that has been a mom to me or stood in the gaps for me when I was going through things. This is about them. And the top person was her. And so just finding ways to keep her legacy alive and to honor her and to ensure that her children are taken care of. I'll talk about a little bit later. But um y'all gonna be sick of me because I'm probably gonna always talk about her. I don't ever want to ever not forget her. She mattered to this world. And then trying to just take care of myself, rest, breathe, not feel guilty for living. That's the biggest thing that I have right now because my biggest guilt is living and being a mom right now because her babies don't have their mama. Told her that day in spirit. I said, girl, you ain't even called me to let me know if I wanted to go with you. Like, you know, we're supposed to do this shit together. You ain't even called me to see if I want to go with. We could have planned this to exit within the next 4 or 5 years. I would have had this stuff together, baby. You ain't even called and tell me. So how did you meet me? And, you know, just praying, praying, praying. I'm so thankful. I will say this, and it could be worse. My grief and my mourning could be worse. But I think that the beautiful thing about the Holy Spirit and God and how He cares for me and how He knows me, He prepared me for it. Now, He didn't prepare me for my friend. I thought it was somebody else, something else. But He prepared me for this day that, you know, it's not as bad as it is for other people, because not just at a shock. I do take death. Death is a part of life, right? And I'm not afraid to die. My fear is to die too soon and not complete the task and the purpose for what is on my life. So, although that day may come, I know that when it does, I've completed everything that I'm supposed to complete. But that guilt, I don't know if this is going to subside in a while. I don't know. I think the process is going to be a while. If you've read my book and know that I suffer from abandonment issues, and especially the abandonment is triggered by those who I'm very close to, and they leave this earth. Every person that I talked about in that book I was very close to, and they left. So the sense of abandonment has come up a little bit, but then like leaning on others because I feel abandoned. I don't want them to feel like they have to show up for me in those type of ways, you know. So it's very weird and very odd how I process things, but in the interim, that's what I'm going to do. At her funeral, I had gotten there right when they closed her casket, which I'm so thankful for, and I think that was a part of her, because I don't think I'd have been able to continue on and seeing her face. I want to remember my friend from when I saw her sitting on her couch the last time I saw her, right? But they closed the casket and I just couldn't breathe. I don't remember breathing through the whole sermon, the whole funeral. And, you know, they got up and they said, you know, you want to say, you know, remarks, remember, and things of that nature. And I, at the end, I kind of stood up and the pastor didn't see me. And they was like, Pastor, somebody else right there. And I just was like, you can't take 30 plus years of friendship and condense it down to 2 minutes. And I basically just said, I just don't have the words. I don't have the tears anymore. I don't know what to feel. Some days I'm scared to go to sleep. Some days I'm scared to drive. Some days I'm there. I was supposed to be in Mississippi yesterday and I overslept. And then I said, oh, you're going to get up in the morning and go today. And I just can't feel like I put myself on the road because I'm just scared. I won't make it back. My kids don't want to go with me. And how can you condense 30 plus years of friendship into 2 minutes? But I did get up and I did say something. And I'm glad that I did. And I gave her her wrist mama necklace. But I had wrote something for her. So it said, I never imagined being here trying to find words big enough to hold all the love, laughter, and memories we shared over the past 35 years. You were more than a friend. You were my sister, my protector, my biggest advocate. No matter where life took us, you made sure I knew you were right there standing beside me. You pulled up when I was going through it, no questions asked. You stood in the gap when I couldn't stand on my own. You fought for me, defended me, and made sure I never forgot my worth. And even when life put 7,000 miles between us, you still did life with me like we were right next door. Our last hug is one I'll carry with me forever. I don't know. I didn't know then it would be our last, but I felt every bit of love in it. That was who you were, someone who gave love fully, fiercely, and without hesitation. I don't know how to do this without you, but I do know this: your love, your strength, your laughter will never leave me. You made sure of that. So, my dear friend, rest, mama. These babies will be safe, they'll be cared for, and they will not go without. You gave this world your all, and we are all better for it. I love you, and I mean it always. And I was supposed to read that for her funeral, but I couldn't get the words out. I did say something nice. She definitely is going to be missed. I wish the world got a chance to know who she was. That's my goal. Genetta, this is one is for you. You are loved. You are missed. Your spirit will always live on forever. Love you, mean it. Make good choices. Be a leader. Don't be average. Be savage. Y'all hold on to y'all people tight. Love on y'all people. Call those people who you haven't spoken to in a while. Literally, when people say that, you think time is a social construct. Time does not live for us. We live for it. So make sure that you make the best of it. And remember, the marathon always continues. Now, that was supposed to be my closing, but I didn't want to end on that. I definitely want to end on a note um, for them babies. Auntie loves y'all so, so much. As I was thinking about what ways to kind of like honor her and just make sure that her legacy in life lives on, I think that the best thing that I could do is form a trust or a foundation in her name. Not the whole thing, but just something small and sweet. Do a special collection for her. That way that if you guys do purchase, that those proceeds go into the trust for the kids, because her children are young. They have not graduated high school. So she has a 17-year-old, a 15, he'll be 16 next month, and then a 9-year-old, just turned 9-year-old. So she still has babies. College is in the near future for them. But then just having to have life. I don't know what plans that she had already prepared for the kids. I don't know that. I just know that as her friend who is very close, who knows that them babies are going to need a lifetime of support, I have to find a way to do it. I told my brother the other day, I was like, I got to get on my Zoom. Because I have my three plus my goddaughter, that's four, and then now it's them three. You know what I'm saying? That I have to look out for. I don't want nobody to say you don't have to do that. Yes, I do, because I know that if it was the shoe was on the other foot, she would do the same thing. And so I have to make sure that they're looked out. So just be on the lookout for, upcoming things. I'm trying to, after this grieving process, it's very hard for me and difficult for me, but after this grieving process and things of that nature, I will be coming up with something. I don't know if it's going to be a particular line with Rest Mama or a foundation to kind of talk about her life and her legacy. I do know that there is some things that I have to run by her family to ensure that those things are okay to do. And so I want to get those permissions first. But I definitely am wanting to make sure that I set up everything that I can set up for them. And two, it's crazy. My ex-husband, he know that was my best friend. So text him and I told him about it, and then he messaged me the other day. And I was just like, I just had a good conversation with him. And I told him, like, we just really need to sit down and have a conversation of our plans for the kids. We don't have to too much deal with Cam in college, because Cam was a good kid. He got good grades. He got his college taken care of. But I just can only imagine that if something happened, he would have to try to figure out what needs to be done. There's a lot of things that I have myself tied up into, and what that looks like, things of that nature. And I implore you guys to do the same. If you have kids, families, things of that nature, these things are needing to be talked about. We don't talk about these things enough, and then things happen, and then we got to be on social media asking people to help us put us in the ground, and that's just not fair to people that we leave behind. Not That's not the same. My friend had the most amazing homegoing service. Her mama did her big one with that and didn't have to take up no donations. Okay. So that's not what I'm saying about my friend. But what I'm saying is, I know that a lot of my personal things are not in order. And that was one of the things that I cried about that day. Like, Lord, I need to make sure I get on my Zoom and get those things in order for myself, for my kids, because I don't want them to ever have to worry. Like, I have a house. What will happen to the house? And what will happen to my assets? And what will happen to, bank accounts? And do they know all the passwords? It's just stuff like that, that you don't think about, because you think you're going to have time on this earth, and you just don't. It puts it in a very much light perspective for me. And so I implore you guys to do the same. If you need resources, or you don't know where to start, I have plenty of people who have plenty of resources. that can help. Means of ways to have extra income coming in, making sure your life insurance policies are correct, your will, your trust, whatever the case may be. Just get it all together, get it situated, get it sorted out. But be on the lookout for, those things. Hope you guys support it. You support me in a very good way. So I hope you guys support this for them babies. And yeah. So I'm kind of happy I did record it over one more time, because the last two podcasts, they were like an hour and I cried through most of it. So, but yeah, Genetta, you fucked the city up on this one, but friend, I got you. I got you, babes. All right, love y'all, meaning bye.